This time we remembered a rubber band for the posters, so like we won't unravel it this time. But on with the review. Boy, 2007. For me, it was Spider-Man, Spider-Pig. And I'm sure there was a spider, maybe someone with a tattoo of one, or most likely one crawling around somewhere in the 2007, Halloween movie from Rob Zombie. So I'm sure somewhere in like those dusty places there was a spider crawling around. So 2007 was a spider year. But love those movies. So we went to see Spider-Man 3 and it was good again. It's amazing to see all three of these damn films. It brings back the memories of seeing them in theaters. All these years later, I'm worth it. And again, people excited, people laughing, I swear. It's that one guy, too, I was like hearing, like he's always there laughing. I'm like, yeah, that guy's in there, too. I'm laughing louder than everyone. He's laughing louder, so it's kind of like we're both kind of like, hey, I'm going to laugh loudest, and just love it. I have no problem with this movie again. I do have my qualms with it. But it's the finale of the Raimi trilogy, and it's really good. I think so. For me, so this is where you can all like tune out, I guess, but I still think this is my favorite superhero trilogy. I can't think of another trilogy of superhero movies that I like more than these three, with how great I personally feel how all three are. And I remember back in theaters enjoying this one. I mean, for me, it was like, oh my gosh, Venom, which is one of my qualms, though. Venom, we get to finally see Venom, and the Black Spider-Man suit looks amazing. I love the Black Spider suit. And then, it's so good. It was good. And again, with these movies, you have all the character stuff going in. Their ups and downs going through stuff. Everybody again. Peter, Harry, Mary Jane. I mean, it's amazing. And that's what I love about it. Just all that. And then when you see like the opening scene where he's fighting with Harry as the new Goblin, whatever, and there's a lot of like all the action scenes are great, top-notch action scenes, and that one there just goes on for like a long time, and it's just amazing how it looks. You know what I'm saying, with the effects as cartooniness and comiciness. Like, again, making these movies, they knew like you're making actual films with passion, like an actual film, like not just. Sure, it's a popcorn flick entertaining, but it's got all the stuff in there that makes a good movie, cinema, as it were. And at the same time, they know how this has to be with the way it's shot, with that as an example, with the dialogue and the stuff that happens and the way things are, soap opera-y. Lines of dialogue and how they say things. Comic book. It's supposed to be a comic book superhero thing, and I love that it shines throughout. French Sam Raimi. Well, those two are basically. Bruce Campbell, I am French. Probably my favorite of the cameos, just because he gets such a good long screen time on it, and it's hilarious, and he looks good with the stash. I still want to see, I can picture him as like, those type of movies where you got like, those old pulp noir kind of superhero ones there, where he'd have like the stash and it'd be in those 1940s or whatever, 50s or whatever, and he'd be all dapper and so that. Then get into his. She never got to get some more stuff with that with Bruce Campbell. But I don't know. Great movie. I'll let you say some things and I'll get to my qualms. But again, with watching this, everyone has a theme. You always hear, you got Spider-Man has his own theme music through all the films. It's this wonderful music. And what I like is everybody gets like a theme to it. And I feel like we're missing that again. I feel like it. Like, I enjoyed the music in Spider-Man. I enjoy the music in Iron Man 3 especially. Stuff like that. But I feel like I don't really pay too much. It gets lost with the music in these things lately. And I don't know, like Sandman's theme, every time he gets there, there's that, he has like this music, this theme music with him. And it sounds so good. It's just so cool. Every time he appears, you get that, it's like, oh, Sandman's coming. I love it. And it's cool to see Bryce Dallas Howard again, looking gorgeous as ever. Just as good now as she did in Argyle and everything as she did. Redhead, blonde. She's amazing. Love her. And it was cool seeing her as Gwen. I just thought so. And I don't know. Jay Jonah again. Everyone just laughing their asses off. Like with the thing with his pills. And it's cute. It's funny. The kid with the camera. I love it. And then Aunt May again, and you get those beautiful sad stories where you get to see more with him and this stuff where putting the husband puts himself before his wife, the stuff with Uncle Ben, and then him getting angry, but then at the end, I forgive you and all that stuff there. Damn, I got tears multiple times throughout this movie. Good movie. I still think Spider-Man 3, I'm sorry. Great films. I know, of course, I would have liked what they would have had a lot of plans for, but they couldn't do because of reasons and bullshit as always. And it could have been a much more darker, evil, dead-ish film, I heard, which would have been awesome, but I still really enjoyed this. So yes, your thoughts on it, sir?
What I like about this trilogy, which they continue to get into the third one, is that it's very character driven, and just like the other two that came before this, it really deals with Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and then Harry. They do a good job with all three characters, and they don't seem to get lost as the movies go on. They kind of build on the.
You feel bad every time with them. You feel for them. You feel for all of them. So you do.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, why can't they all be as happy? But then you will get a story.
So good.
I think overall, the special effects when it comes to CGI has improved. I do feel like,
and it looks just to step in, and it just on the big screen. I feel like it looks better on like the big screen than like a lot of things nowadays. Like when you get some of those TVs and you see stuff, but it looks. I'm like, wow. It's still, you can, it's so many years old, but it looks, I wasn't cringing or nothing, even when you could see it, go going. It looked really good.
Yes, and I thought the best part of the special effects was definitely the Venom, at least the suit itself or whatever. I thought that was the best part. I think maybe the worst part of it was maybe a little bit of the beginning, the fast-paced battling.
But even then, it worked because it was darkly lit, and I tell you, it looks cartoony, comic booky at times. That's what I think works, because they're doing these shots where it's like this and this, and you're falling through, snaking through, and also that's why I kind of like I'm sitting there watching it after all these years of not seeing it. I'm like, wow, like how actually good that actually looks when you're seeing it as this. It looks like I'm watching a cartoon, but it's live action, so I felt like it worked. And just to butt in, for me, Sandman I think has the best. That's beginning, that scene where he first gets in, you see him like this, and he's all turning and falling apart, trying to grab his daughter's locket, and it falls, and he's like, no, I'm gonna get that, and then you see him transition from this, and he gets up and steps and walks. I'm like, that looked beautiful. I'm like, damn, that looked great. It's from 2007.
Yes.
He's walking there, and he's seeing this effect, and then it slowly transitions, the sand going away, to he's a person. And those shots of them where he's always like, and I saw that too, where it's like this, and then there's so many shots. Oh, it's crazy good. But I mean, I think it's amazing, and you get that sadness and that sorrow and that music. So good.
Well, yeah, and you're right. That's probably is the best Sandman special effects they did too. I thought the way they did Sandman in general was actually pretty good.
Oh, and then the fighting with him when he was like, what does it matter to you? Everything. And then they're fighting, another good scene. And then when he's taking his face, shoving up against the subway train going, shh.
Yeah.
It's like how graphic that is. And you see like half his face, and it's like, it's so gruesome. But he gets it back because you know how he is. He's sand and everything. But damn, that's so good.
I feel like even when Sandman was trying to be evil, he really wasn't.
He wasn't.
Evil.
That's what I liked about him. I always liked that about him. He
had a good heart the whole time.
That's what I liked about him.
I think even Spider-Man actually was felt more vicious and evil than.
It was that stupid Venom, damn it, that symbiote.
You don't trust that thing.
And then all of a sudden there were Dr. Connors, and what never became of that again.
Yeah. Well, that just leaves room for another movie, right?
But it's just,
But back to the characters. I thought, again, they did a good job of making you sympathize for the villains. And not only that, they did a good job what they've always done in the R2 movies, is they make the people feel real. There's so many layers, and that's what makes it a good film. They go through so much, and again, they evolve again.
And again, Peter, at that final ending battle there, sitting there with this mask getting torn and ripped, and he's getting hurt and injured. You don't see that again anymore.
That's true.
They don't go through hell and back when finding these scenes. And that final scene, is one of my qualms. Because it just kind of happens out of nowhere. You have to end it, I know. That's my only qualm. Just the whole, hey, Sandman, I hate him too. Let's get him. Okay. And it's like, for me, that was always kind of a... Because you have to get them, it's like they have to team up and fight him now. It's like, that's like my one beef. Besides the other beef I'll mention later. But... It's a long, that goes on forever, and then it's nice to see Harry come back and be like, yeah, buddy, and they're doing it. Great job, emotional, awesome. The spectacle, Mary Jane in her waitress outfit, very sexy, with the tie and the skirt and the legs. Good stuff again, Zoe. And she's sitting there fighting back, too, when she can, which I like. And I like the whole, you're not listening to me, and he's not.
Oh, yeah.
That's just why it works so well, when Harry's like, I'm listening to you, and she goes to, it's like, everything works, and I love the landlords there, where he tells them off, and he's like, he's a good boy, Something must be troubling him. That shows you the guy's not like an asshole.
Right.
Because he knows that Peter's a good kid. So that's why he's like, something's wrong here. Right. And then that's it. I like that.
It's probably one of the reasons why he puts up with him so much, for not paying the rent.
Exactly. He knows he's a good boy. Everyone knows he's a good guy. Aunt May tells him this shit. Everyone knows, and that's why I personally still love to this day. Everyone else in the theater is enjoying it. I know everyone memes it and does stuff like this. I think it's just a great scene when he gets to be all emo Peter, and all stuff there, and he does this dancing. He gets to see it. First, the ladies are all looking, and then they're all like, oh, geez, you're overdoing it now. And he's all, and then the whole, he's like, hey, give us a seat. And it's just like, holy all that stuff, all the shots, everything, his attitude. He's such a dick.
Yeah.
But I love it. And then the whole getting the hair down. You gonna cry? You gonna cry? I just absolutely love everything about it. I think it's great. I think it's believable again, who he is. And I like that. That's his version of a dark version of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he isn't some evil warlord mastermind. He is just still kind of a nerdy guy. He's like, I was telling you with that one story, what it was, where it's kind of like, when Tommy Pickles is like, I want to be bad, Angelica, but he can't do it. And she's like, throw this cup off there. Oh, it's full. Apple juice. Ha ha. And it's like, you're not supposed to drink it, Tommy. It's that kind of attitude where he's like, well, I don't want to. But he's still. I love that stuff so much. It's a great scene. You anticipate it, you wait for it, you love it. And I like how Gwen gets all, again with her. And she's like, you did this for her? And then she even goes to Mary Jane and says, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I love that. So they're all just really good, likable characters, except for one. But we'll get to, you tell more. And I love the group with Jay Jonah. What is that? Ted Raimi in there all the time. I love you. It's like, shut up, you. He's hilarious every time, too. And the one guy, I can't remember the character's name, but, his other assistant guy, the black guy, how he, throughout the movies, you always see him caring so much. Like, he's like, I don't think Spider-Man would do this, like in the last one, and all this stuff there, and he's all, I love how he cares, for Peter and for Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff there. It's very nice and sweet. The receptionist lady, it's very nice. And then Jay Jonah is just, you miss that stuff with any other film afterwards, with all these actors, in my opinion. But any problems I have? My only problems were, I loved Venom all the time. I loved, I had, my buds and I had posters where it's all that sick artwork, where it's just gross and his tongue's always sticking out, cards, all that stuff there. The tongue that's always dripping this gross green snot slime stuff, drool out of his mouth all the time. And it just looks gross. And then Carnage and all that stuff there, it was gross. It was sick stuff. Loved it. And then I still thought he looked really good in this. For me, I'm not nothing against him. He's okay in that 70s show and also like that. I don't think he was good for the choice of Eddie Brock, and I didn't really care for he was the one that wasn't likable for me. Where I'm like, I don't know, you got what you deserve, and I love how he goes God, I want you to kill Peter Parker for me, Jesus. It's like, I remember in theaters, it's the first time I saw it, because it was when family was out, but then my mom and she wanted to go do something, go out and go eat somewhere, and then go to a movie. And I'm like, cool, so go see Spider-Man. So that was her first time seeing these, and she enjoyed it. And I remember her just laughing when he's like, I want you to kill Peter Parker. She's like, holy crap, he's in a church praying to God to say, kill this guy. It's just a good memory. And yeah, I don't think he was a good fit. I just don't really, again, he didn't work for me as that. And then that's basically it. Like, I did not like him. I wanted more of the actual Venom kind of stuff. Or at least the stuff with space, which I thought they were kind of alluding at in the second one. But with Astronaut coming back, and I don't know. But he's the only thing that I would have with there. Like, it's still good. And I like he still does a good performance. And my favorite thing, too, at the end is when he does the thing with the bells and puts the pipes down and then puts them in a cage and dum, 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 dum. Love it. Always stuck with me. Creative, genius. I love that. But it's just, I'm not a big fan of him as Venom. He wasn't I feel like they should have cast someone else. But it is what it is. That was like my only qualm. And it's not like I hate everything about it. It's just, that's where it kind of takes away a little notch for me. Just a little notch of my liking of it, which means I don't not like it, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Yeah, anyone know what I'm saying? Where if I had to choose just something that I didn't like about it, it was him as Venom, and then just that ending just came out of nowhere really fast. They had to team up and fight. Otherwise, no issues. For me, I really enjoyed this film to this day.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I didn't have as much fond memories as the other two I did watching it. So it's actually refreshing to see it again.
Yeah, I saw you reacting and stuff. When he hits Mary Jane, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You can see you tearing up too and stuff and reacting, which is good.
Because the only thing I really remembered...
Bruce, it is Frenchness, and everything about that scene is laughable, wonderful, enjoyable. I love him. Love him.
I mean, I knew that what kind of villains were going to be in it. I didn't really remember how it evolved and all that. But again,
stuff. They do such a good job of telling that, like slowly building up him running away, like with Sandman, with Flint. Him running away from the cops and little by little building up to him becoming Sandman. You know what I'm saying? It was like kind of this, piece by piece. This happens, then we go back to this. And this happens, slowly building up, and then seeing him with his wife and the daughter. Good stuff.
Well, yeah. And I said earlier that they do a good job of feeling sorry for the villains, but I don't think that necessarily did that for, as you said, for Venom, the true Venom. But, I mean, you can't always feel sorry for the villains. That's become a cliche nowadays.
Yeah, well, again, as we said in the first one, we know why they do that nowadays, because people running the show for everything nowadays are pretty much bad, evil people, and, you know, it's the whole, they want evil to be good, and good is evil nowadays. If you pay attention to life and stuff in general, you'll know what that means.
The biggest qualm for the trilogy is I'm tired of seeing all the villains always die. I know it makes dramatic story, but for the most part, I'm not saying they have to return.
But that's why No Way Home kind of brings them back and saves them in a way.
That's true.
And I'm sure they still could have had something planned. I don't know. They still probably could have brought Harry back in some way for the fourth one. So that could have been something too.
That would have been cool. I don't know how they would have done that. I can see how they could bring Venom back because guys got a sample. And technically, Sandman didn't die.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't really, do anything.
No.
That's what I like again. And then, as always, Dr. Connors.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so we finally going to see the lizard that they're alluding to? That was always the plan. So it was always like hearing it's supposed to be the lizard. They're supposed to have a vulture. And then, I don't know if it was true or not, if anyone knows, if anyone watches this, not many do. No one cares about us talking about how awesome these movies are. But I'm pretty sure I heard something, too, about Bruce Campbell, why he's 3 different people in the same timeline. Now, if that's actually true, I'm pissed off again, because I would have loved it. Because how he can always appear on these places, and always something different. He's always, I'm here. He was supposed to be Mysterio. They were going to reveal him to be Mysterio.
That'd be interesting.
And I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the whole plan was everyone always talks about that Sinister Six thing. And I'm like, So I don't know. There's all these things there. If that's the case, I hate everything. I hate certain time. I hate all this powers that be that made us not get that fourth Raimi film. But, you know, it is what it is. Any other final words or anything? Again, just Spider-Man 3, great film, love it. Best superhero trilogy, best Spider-Man trilogy, best 3 Spider-Man films. No ifs, ands, or buts. Sorry, Across the Spider-Verse has nothing compared to it, neither has any of the MCU stuff.
Final thoughts. I thought, even though they threw 3 villains in this one at one point, I thought they did a pretty good job of handling it.
I know a lot of people were complaining that was the too many cooks in the kitchen thing. It's like, but I think they did a good job of handling it. The only thing was they just tagged the 2 at the end, the tag team, and do a final battle thing. Where say that's the only thing that seemed kind of forced, as opposed to everything. Like they had to have one thing, like they had to have Venom show up. Like you know, like I think originally 2 was supposed to be because Spider-Man had the suit, and then the next one I think was supposed to be more on actual Venom. But then, you know, stuff happens. I've heard all these things about a certain someone and him doing a lot of bull crap behind the scenes and forcing stuff and changing things. Still, I enjoy the film, and everyone was applauding this one, which I was like, all right. People were applauding like crazy for this one, and I'm glad people were enjoying it. So I'm like, good. I'm glad people enjoyed this movie.
I think it actually got a bigger applause than all the other 2 movies, surprisingly.
Crazy. I think also, maybe it was also because that this was, goodbye.
Could be.
Best of the films and trilogy.
Yeah, maybe they were just applauding the trilogy altogether, but it was very interesting to see everyone applaud so much. And I find it interesting in this trilogy, they sum up the movies that came up before it in the beginning.
In the beginning, I like that.
When we first walked in, I thought we actually walked into the second one again. I'm like, hey, this looks like the same shots.
Oh, silly. But yes, so good. And again, it's just to close out, I think, for me, that's why I think these ones stand so much and why people get irritated. It's like, come on, it's been so many years. They can't be. It's like, that's the thing, though. It's how many years now since these movies and people still talk about them. And I'm sorry, I don't know many that talk about any of the other ones as much as these 3. Not even the Spider-Verse films. I'm sorry. It's just these 3, there's a reason why these 3. It's the same reason why people always bring up Batman 89. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. And that it's because I think this is, like we said in the first video, the Scooby-Doo treatment. Everything I felt just kind of aligned right, even though it ended where they didn't get to do any more. I think it was like, you'll never get something like this again. It was a perfect alignment. I think everybody involved just did a spectacular job, and especially when it came to casting again. Mwah, chef's kiss. Everybody was just perfectly done, you know, except for, you know, like my beef with a little bit with Topher Grace there, but just amazing for everybody. And when I picture those characters, besides the cartoons and animated stuff, I picture these ones as all those characters. They're that good. They're that memorable. They're that freaking fantastic. Masterpieces, great movies, great trilogy. And with times being as they are now, I still have hope that we might get Raimi to do Spider-Man 4, you know, give us one last thing there, and I think that'll be an easy $1 billion. You do it right, and they better. Because it's like, if they can get, like, even her back as MJ, Kirsten Dunst, and all of them, just kind of do stuff, I don't know. I feel like they can pull it off very well, and people will love it because they love these characters, these versions, these films so much, and they stand the test of time as all good, memorable films should, and that just shows you again.
Yeah, just like the 2 came before us when we watched it, the theater was basically completely packed again. So even though people make fun of this one out of all 3 of them, it was actually a packed house.
These movies are making money too. I mean, they're making a lot of money.
I wish Hollywood
just saying.
Realize that. They bring everything else back. Why not do this?
So I don't know. They need. I still think they need to do this, and I still think they need to do one more. Speaking of Bruce and Raimi, finish Ash's story. Give us a conclusion. Something. Anything else on Spidey 3?
No. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Don't forget that notification bell. And
go see these movies while you can. I mean, they're doing the other ones too. Probably still go see some of them, but it's not the same as seeing these again after all these years. So powerful, so amazing. And again, yeah, thanks everyone. Let us know what you think of the films and stuff. And thanks. Yeah. Go watch them and enjoy those movies. See ya.
See ya.